The answer to that question is you're an idiot.
But it is very clear that neither of you want to answer a very simple question.
So now you're accusing us.
Are you allowed?
Are you accusing us?
Is Harvard,
are you accusing him and me?
Is Harvard allowed, or any school?
The main difference between this cabinet and the Biden cabinet is that these people are actually allowed to go in and see the president, unlike the Biden cabinet, who were apparently not allowed to.
Let me play this really quick.
Nobody has the right to go into the Oval Office and ask the President of the United States questions. That's an invitation that is given.
And Ruby Bridges, I mean, how does she not know somebody who was so crucial when it came to education in America and changing education in America? I guess we should at least be happy that she didn't think it was a bridge.
Hey, how's it going? My name's Jasmine. My friends call me Jizzy Creams. And boy, do we have a heated discussion today. That Scott Jennings, man, he's such a little weasel. God, he pisses me off so much sometimes. And today's subject is Linda McMahon. Okay, I made a video about her back in, I think, November, and even the cover, I wrote, I'll have to look it up, I'll get back to you, because that's her only answer. I mean, that's what she gets paid to say. She doesn't need to say any more, any less. She's just paid to just sit there and say that. And let's just get into the episode, because it's a good one.
Tonight, Trump's education secretary sounding uneducated on several issues. Linda McMahon was grilled on Capitol Hill today over her department's DEI cuts, and the former WWE executive turned education authority didn't sound all that comfortable with the facts.
Would you say that it would be an illegal DEI for a lesson plan on the Tulsa race massacre?
I'd have to get back to you on that.
Do you know what the Tulsa race massacre is?
I'd like to look into it more and get back to you on it.
Okay, so I look forward to that. How about the book Through My Eyes by Ruby Bridges, for instance?
I haven't read that.
Have you learned about Ruby Bridges?
If you have specific examples you'd like
that
to
was a
cite,
specific example.
I doubt she's ever even stepped foot into a school before.
After her department
Stepped foot into school before.
demanded schools sign a certification declaring they were DEI-free, McMahon was asked to clarify whether or not teaching African-American history is now illegal.
I do not think that African studies or Middle East studies or Chinese studies are part of DEI if they are taught as part of the total history package. So that if you're giving the facts on both sides, of course they're not DEI.
I don't know what both sides of African-American history would be.
What is the other side of African-American history? Does anyone know? I don't.
This is a person charged with crafting the education agenda to make our kids competitive in the 21st century. This is a president who mocked DEI and said that we were hiring, the Biden administration was hiring unqualified people. This is the least qualified education secretary in our history. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Look, she referred to artificial intelligence, which was, it is.
Well, let's play the clip because I'm using enough to play it again.
This morning, I wish I could remember the source, but that there is a school system that's going to start making sure that first graders or even pre-Ks have A1 teaching, every year starting, that far down in the grades. And that's just that's a wonderful thing. And so it wasn't all that long ago that we're going to have internet in our schools. Whoop. Now, okay, let's see A1 and how can that be helpful?
Maybe she wished she had remembered the sauce.
Yo, for real though, I love A1 sauce, okay? I have a cardboard cutout giant A1 sauce. I mean, I put that shit on my cereal, okay? I love A1 sauce.
For first graders, I agree.
But there's more where that came from, right? In the letter that she wrote to Harvard threatening them, it was riddled with grammatical errors and typos. She didn't know what the Tulsa Race Massacre was. She oversees the Office of Civil Rights in the Department of Education. And it doesn't just end with her, right? It is a series of unqualified hires the president does. Either you're a big donor and you give money, you get a cabinet post, or you praise him on Fox News like Pete Hegseth or Jeannie Pirro, and you
I'm not surprised that her emails were full of grammatical errors and
at these appointments. That's his qualifications.
Look, there's definitely people in the Trump cabinet who are qualified. I may disagree with them on their duplicity and their hypocrisy, but people like Marco Rubio can get asked practically anything about foreign policy and foreign relations, and he would probably know how to answer. I would say the same thing about Scott Bessent. But then you have some dum-dums. You just do. And every time they go in front of Congress and they get asked questions about their department.
I love Anna. Anna knows her shit. She's really good. I saw some clips of her from a long time ago, and she was a snarky one, feisty. I was gonna say feisty and snarky at the same time.
That they should know about, they're incapable of answering. You've got Kristi Noem, who doesn't know what habeas corpus is. You've got Pete Hegseth.
Habeas corpus is such a badass term, though. Habeas corpus, that sounds so badass.
Who couldn't answer the most basic questions about membership in organizations that we belong to. And then you've got this lady who doesn't know what the Tulsa massacre is. I recommend that she watch Dreamland, The Burning of Black Wall Street, which was a movie made by CNN. Excellent. So you can get an education in maybe an hour. And Ruby Bridges. I mean, how does she not know somebody who was so crucial when it came to education in America and changing education in America? I guess we should at least be happy that she didn't think it was a bridge.
I mean, what was fascinating was at one point she was questioned about her use of note cards. Just watch this.
Oh my God.
Morning. He truly believes, as do I, that the best education is that is closest to the child. Times even this morning. He truly believes, as do I, that the best education is that is closest to the child.
It's like someone said, just bring your lowest qualified, or just the most half-assed, set of people ever possible. Let's just bring the lowest bar, bring it down even lower. I mean, this is beyond. I don't even think kindergartners would naturally stoop that low. It's insane. Oh my God. The more surreal things that happen like this, the more I do feel like I'm going to wake up soon, because it's just getting to such an insanely ridiculous point.
So as she's trying to answer a question, an aide is sitting there with a stack of note cards, presumptively with answers on them. This is almost like getting help on an exam. I mean, I don't... Look, presidents can pick whoever they want in their cabinet. That is definitely true. But this president has also said that it's about merit, that they want to get DEI out of every part of American life. Why on earth, then, do they have someone who seems not prepared or qualified, perhaps, for the job that she's been placed in?
The main difference between this cabinet and the Biden cabinet is that these people are actually allowed to go in and see the president, unlike the Biden cabinet, who were apparently not allowed to.
I can't stand Scott. If you can't tell by now, why are you bringing up Biden? Why can't I want to know? When I'm talking to MAGA people, I have to bring up, can you answer this question without bringing up Biden or saying these words or saying these words? Stop bringing up Biden. Scott, you damn weasel. And second of all, let me play this really quick.
Nobody has the right to go into the Oval Office and ask the President of the United States questions. That's an invitation that is given.
So what the hell is he even saying right now?
Are you going to answer? Are you going to answer for? Are you going to answer for this, or are you going to change the subject?
The only thing I care about for the Education Secretary, the literal only thing I care about, is what they are doing to close the Department of Education. I don't care how many books she's read. I don't care.
Well, it's not up to you, Scott, because I do care. You don't care. Of course you don't care. Because if it were the case that you had to care, then you would care a whole lot. But you don't have, it's, Scott, it's not up to you.
What answers to gotcha questions she has, I just want to know how quickly can we close the department?
He sounds like a weak, pathetic man. Just the weakest, let me grasp onto every little thing where I'm just just putting you guys in the bad lighting. It's just so pathetic.
To ask, do you know what the Tulsa race massacre is, or do you know who Ruby Bridges is?
You know what the answer to that question she should have given?
Yeah.
She should have said, Congresswoman Lee, it was Summer Lee asking the question, as a congresswoman in Pittsburgh, why is it that when you were asked to vote, is anti-Zionism, anti-Semitism, you chose the side of the terrorist? How is it when you...
No, you should not. You should not. That's such a dumb response. And Abby, I don't know if she said it yet or not, but don't answer a question with another question. Why don't you just answer the question? Why can't you just answer the question?
We're asked to condemn anti-Semitism on campus. That's an education issue. She took the side of the terrorist. Summer Lee is the exact wrong person, and it's faux outrage for Democrats to sit here and take Summer Lee's side against Linda McMahon.
I want to play, because since you brought up the anti-Semitism.
Would the Harvard government department be compelled to hire faculty that believe the 2020 election was stolen?
I believe that there are rights to freedom of speech, but on campuses and universities of colleges and universities across the country, freedom of speech should be allowed.
Does refusing to hire a Holocaust denier as a member of Harvard's history department faculty count as an ideological litmus test?
I believe that there should be diversity of viewpoints relative to teachings and opinions on campuses.
A diversity of viewpoints about Holocaust denying?
That's not what she said.
That's not what she said.
That is
Okay.
not at all what just happened there.
Hold on.
She's saying that college
Hold on,
faculty
hold on.
are uniformly
Hold on.
partisan, liberal, progressive, radicals.
All right.
And that's
I guess
basically true.
let me just read again what was just said.
Oh, I feel one of Todd's little toddler. I feel one of Scott's little toddler fits coming along.
The question, does refusing to hire a Holocaust denier as a member of Harvard's history department count as an ideological litmus test? She says, I believe there should be diversity of viewpoints relative to teachings and opinions on campus.
She was not,
I don't understand.
She was not answering what is a patently ridiculous question.
Wait,
and no Republican should take any lectures about anti-Semitism right now from Democrats.
But why on earth would she not be able to answer that question?
She has the same answer that every Republican has had for time immemorial. Why isn't there any diversity of viewpoint in the faculty at a college?
So what is the answer?
It was a joke of a question.
Okay.
It was a joke of a question.
So what's the
He doesn't
answer?
deserve an answer.
What's the answer?
It was a joke of a question? Oh my god, can you guys sound like any more like little fucking babies? God
Is it an
damn.
ideological litmus test to have a Holocaust denier be asked
won't
to
answer.
ask
That's not an
candidates?
Is there an ideological litmus test that you have to believe in progressive radicalism to
second.
get hired now? Because that's what it seems like to us.
Holocaust denialism.
That's the box they have
which
to
is
check.
card-carrying, textbook anti-Semitism. You
She
think
wasn't responding
doesn't
to
count?
that. She wasn't responding to that, and is a patently ridiculous
But
assertion.
why are you assuming that she wasn't responding to that when she gave
Because
that answer
because
in
I'm a thinking human being who can see what a rational
to
person would say.
Because I'm a human being who could... Scott, why don't you just say... Why do you have to do that? Why don't you just say, because this and this? Why don't you just say, because I'm this and that? God, it's like hard to take any of them seriously.
A ridiculous question?
She didn't say that's a ridiculous question.
You were totally
Scott,
misconstruing this.
Scott, literally we played it for the American people to see.
Yeah, and every
hear.
single person's going to see it my way.
No, they're not. A lot of people will, because there's a lot of morons out there that this orange ape has brainwashed, and people like Scott with his little smugness make it seem like he's like in the right. But no, Scott, anybody with intelligence and brains, even a little bit, will not see it the way you see it.
No, literally did not answer. She did not answer the question the way you want to answer the question, and that question has an answer. What is the answer?
The answer to that question is you're an idiot. To that congressman. That is the answer to that question.
Of course.
What is the answer? Will the federal government?
Then they go to insult. And you know what? When an argument is weak, volume goes up. That's why he's getting all crazy and loud. And of course, just like their leader, it's like when you don't want to answer a question, you just say, well, you're an idiot, or you're dumb, or it's like, come the fuck on. It's just, oh my God. I don't even know how Abby could stand him for so long.
If somebody comes in and says, I don't believe the Holocaust really happened, will the federal government bring the hammer down on universities for saying that is not a viewpoint that we are allowing on our campuses?
The question would be
that the answer ought to be no, but it sounds like neither of you want to give an answer.
Why do they keep answering the question with another question? I know why. I want them to know
what kind of litmus test is Harvard putting on its faculty now?
Yes.
Only 3% of its faculty are Republicans.
I mean, she didn't have a note card in front of her to tell her the answer, and this is what happens when you have somebody who lied about having an education degree. They didn't teach about the Holocaust maybe when she was getting her French degree. If she actually has that.
We also didn't even.
You're accusing her of being a Holocaust?
No. Please, Scott. Hold on a second.
Look at him.
Excuse me, Scott. Stop. Everybody stop. Everybody stop for a second. Excuse me, Scott. Nobody accused her of being a Holocaust denier.
You're implying that that's what she wants.
No one did that.
Implying.
It is completely.
The line of inquiry here
just
is an
stop for just a
implication
second.
that she's like, sure,
it is
let's do that.
completely disingenuous for you to sit at this table and say that we accused her of being a Holocaust
I think it's disingenuous
denier.
to portray this interaction the way you are.
Absolutely no one.
Why are you getting so worked up, huh, Scott? Why are you getting so upset? Huh?
Said that. It is disingenuous.
How are you portraying it?
It's disingenuous. It's disrespectful.
I think
the question was disingenuous.
Excuse me.
It was a disingenuous question.
How is it a disingenuous question? The other part of the question is, if you are an election denier, and Harvard said you can't be an election denier and teach at this school, is that a litmus test?
The question is, what litmus test is Harvard putting on its
And then
faculty?
answer the
We
question.
know they have
We
one
gotta
set of
go.
ideology.
But it is very clear that neither of you want to answer a very simple question.
So now you're
Are
accusing
you
us.
allowed?
Are you accusing us?
Is Harvard?
Are you accusing him and me?
Is Harvard allowed, or any
ahead and do
school,
it.
is any school allowed to say that these are facts, and if you don't believe in facts, you cannot teach here? Are they allowed to do that?
The question is, what is the litmus test
Scott,
today?
don't
and what
do
kind of
not
faculty do you
answer
want?
my
do you want
question.
people who all have the same
Do
views
not.
or a
When you
diversity
answer
of
my
views?
question with a question, you are dodging.
When
So
you
answer
ask me,
the
when you ask
question.
me questions that I think are kind of ridiculous framing of this issue, then I think
How
you're
is it a
misconstruing the
ridiculous
issue.
framing?
Because
You
she-
either believe that there are things that are facts or you don't.
I do believe in facts, and I also
Okay.
believe that that member of Congress was creating a disingenuous, ridiculous question designed for this gotcha moment right here.
Okay, it is very telling that you are
Oh
not.
my god, his cult leader really is rubbed off on him. I can't even believe how
Able or
pathetic he
willing
sounds
to
right now.
even entertain an answer. You could answer
I
the
gave you
question
an
right
answer.
now and you
Harvard has a
refuse
right
to
to-
do it.
You know what? It's your fault. You're the one who asked the dumb question. It's like, no, it's not a dumb question. You're trying to make it out to be a dumb question because it's making you feel dumb when it's not a dumb question at all. It's a very reasonable question, in fact.
Look,
Harvard has a right to have any litmus test they want for their faculty. They're a private institution.
Okay,
They
all
can-
right. Well, there's the answer to your question. Thank you, Brad. I appreciate that. Coming up next, Corinne Jean-Pierre. Tonight.
Damn. Oh my god, that Scott is such a weasel. Notice how the rest of the panel didn't say anything for like the second half of that. Dear God, I mean, why can't I just... Wow. You know, Linda McMahon's over here causing all kinds of commotion. She's just so outrageously, just breathtakingly unqualified. I can't even believe someone... Well, I was gonna say someone beat Pete Kegseth in unqualified, but I think it's a tie. I mean, honestly, I think they're all a tie. They're all just one big tie of just unqualified bullshit, like Kristi Noem, Kash Patel. Oh my god, I cannot wait for the day where we don't have to say any of these names anymore, because it's gonna be like, oh my god, it's gonna be the biggest relief of a lifetime, of the century. That's an understatement. You know, Linda McMahon, she makes it so obvious. I mean, they're all such fuck-ups, and they make it so obvious because notice that the only questions that she is able to answer, because no matter what it's about, she doesn't give a fuck. She's just like, all right, I don't know, let's get back to you. I don't care. And she never does. But when it comes to funding and finance and money and all that, then she has answers, and they're very trained answers. And I can tell they're trained because they're very unintelligent and simple kindergarten level answers. And it's like, okay, did Donald put you up to this? And you know, I'm like, you're making it so obvious. You guys are making it so obvious. I mean, you guys are fuck ups, man. And it takes one to know one, okay? I know one when I see one because I am one. Alright, well, anyways, like and subscribe. This was a good episode. Plenty more to come. See you next episode.
They got your data, dumbass.
Do not come. Do not come.